And one of the ways in which they are kept out is through minimum wages, for example. In a country with an unemployment rate as high as ours, having minimum wage laws is really a way of making the labor market more sticky and making it far more difficult for young people, for example, to find a foothold in the economy.
Earlier, you mentioned the astronomically high levels of unemployment in South Africa. Why do we have such low levels of labor absorption? What is happening at the policy level that's making it so difficult for us to employ more people?
Well, at the policy level, let me come to the policy level in a moment. But what I would like to mention before we get there is that we're getting a structural mismatch between the skills we've got in the economy and the structure of the economy as such. So if you think about the economy as consisting of the primary sector, which is agriculture and mining, the secondary sector, which is manufacturing, and the tertiary sector, which is services, the past 20 years have seen a very marked shift in the South African economy away from agriculture, mining, and manufacturing and to services. For the services economy, you do need people with a good education mostly. If you think about finances or insurance business, if you think about online marketing consultants, if you think about lawyers, all of these are service businesses that require some sort of study, some sort of degree, or at the very least, good education at school. And that is something we're not giving our children in South Africa at the moment. The matric pass rate, as it is communicated by the Minister of Basic Education each year, lies between 75 and 80%, but that is quite a misleading rate. And the reason we say that is that we track the progress of a cohort of children that enter school in a given year. In 2008, for example, there were about 1.1 million children that entered grade 1. And we see what happens to them from year to year as they get older. And we see that by the time they get to matric, half have dropped out of school and only about 400,000 then pass their matric. So the true matric pass rate is closer to 40% rather than 80%. And then if you take an even closer look at the number of children who achieve good results in an important subject like mathematics, for example, we see that there's only about 50,000 children who achieve over 50% in mathematics out of the original 1.1 million. And so we are producing a very large number of school leavers each year who do not have good qualifications and therefore will find it very difficult to find a job in an economy that is dominated by the services sector. And that is partly a result of policy, but also a result of ideology in the education ministry. So the policies are not designed to foster meritocracy or to demand high achievement from children, but rather try to achieve high throughput rates at the cost of quality. And we see that, for example, in the fact that the matric pass rates have, not the pass rates, the grades needed to pass matric have been reduced at several occasions in the past. And in some subjects, you can get a pass with 40% or even 30%. And that really is not the way to get good results. We mentioned earlier policies, labor market policies. So certainly there are some very concerning factors in that area as well. One, of course, is the whole cluster of race-based legislation, such as Black economic empowerment policies, affirmative action policies, etc., which impose a drag on the economy. They make it more difficult for businesses to find the right talent to hire. And they also give businesses an incentive to hire candidates who might not be quite the right candidates for the job. And the overall effect on the economy is a loss of productivity and a loss of competitiveness. And this leads to declining growth and declining job creation.
Enjoying this analysis? Click here to sign up for our 30-day free trial for more content from the CIA.
I think what's striking in some of these discussions is that, well, you can actually have a relatively unskilled workforce, but still be competitive because you have labor policies that actually facilitate that competition. So if you think of the development trajectory of a country like Vietnam, they were able to leverage low skill, high intensity manufacturing to grow their their economy. The same can be said with Ethiopia. So, you know, I think the education system is obviously dysfunctional, and that's a big problem. But we could be doing a lot better in terms of absorbing people who don't even necessarily have the high-level skills that we spoke about earlier.
Yes. And also, when we talk about the structural misalignment of the skills and the markets, it's not entirely true, because, of course, the service sector also provides a lot of job opportunities to less skilled people. If you think, for example, of, say, security guards, that's a service industry, telecommunications, the tourism industry, the hospitality industry, all offer a very large variety of jobs that do not involve mining, agriculture, or manufacturing, and that should be able to absorb a lot of workers from our workforce. And partly the reason why that isn't happening is that we in South Africa have created an insider-outsider problem, where we treat the insiders who already have jobs very well as a result of union pressure and the union alliance with the governing party, the ANC. And that means that those people who do have jobs in South Africa are often quite well paid by international standards. And those who do not have jobs, do not have a way into the labor market because they are kept out. And one of the ways in which they are kept out is through minimum wages, for example. In a country with an unemployment rate as high as ours, having minimum wage laws is really a way of making the labor market more sticky and making it far more difficult for young people, for example, to find a foothold in the economy, even if it is at a very low pay rate, but at least getting in there, being able to accumulate some job experience, being able to build some work networks and progress from there. It's really important to get this very first step into the economy. It almost doesn't matter how you get there, but you need to have that in order to build a career and build experience. And so what we need is a policy shift that makes it easier for young people to get into the economy. And one of the proposals that has been made is an exemption certificate, where you would say that as a young person, you can voluntarily apply for an exemption certificate. That means that most labor laws don't apply to you. You say, you do this by choice. You say, I'm not going to worry about the hiring and firing rules, most labor regulations, minimum wages. I don't want that to apply to me. I actually just want to get a job. So let me get an exemption certificate. Let me go to various employers and say, I want to work. I'm willing to work at any condition, but I want to get in. And once you're in, then you've got the chance of building on that. So that would be one approach to doing that.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, why don't you consider subscribing to the Center for Risk Analysis as a client? We offer a range of reports, webinars, and other advisory services, which will help you to navigate this very difficult environment. My name is David Ansara. This is the Center for Risk Analysis. Until next time, take care.